Now, new, live, and local, and every weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. This is the show talking about what you want to know, what you need to know, and part of Wolf Boom Radio's mission to use our voice to build our community. The all-new Delaware County Today, presented by Muncie Community Schools. Now on WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. Here's your host, Director of News Operations and lead morning anchor, Steve Lindell.
Here's what we're talking about from our video studio on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio, south side of Muncie. The weather, some ups, some downs, and some 30s or more, not that far away. We'll talk Ball State in about 5 minutes or so. Mick Tidrow, voice of Cardinals, at about 8:15. Bottom of hour, we get to hear about CASA, the hometown hero of the month for WMUN and Wolf Boom Radio. Good morning once again. Let's get our weather like we always do first and foremost. That is WMUN meteorologist Paul Poteet.
Good morning. There's a clipper moving through today, producing some snow. The biggest totals will be in the southeastern quarter of Indiana, but we could see a dusting around here, a coating of snow. Probably less than a half an inch, but if you get down around I-70 and south of there, then you start increasing around an inch, maybe more in the southeastern corner of the state. Most of that's going to be in the morning. High today of 28, partly cloudy, and 5 tonight as it turns colder. Partly sunny tomorrow, high of only 20. Down to 6 tomorrow night. Then another little weak wave with a few flurries or snow showers Thursday, high 25. Our best next chance of snow is Friday with some light accumulation possible. It might even be mixed with some rain. Friday's high 35. For the weekend, mostly sunny, 23 Saturday, and another round of snow showers Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday's high 24, and then it starts to warm up after about Tuesday of next week. Into the 30s, maybe 40s. That's the WMUN weather story this morning. Let's get some more stories about what's happening elsewhere with Steve.
Happy to do that. Paul Poteet, meteorologist, WMUN hourly updates, and he reports on all of our stations in the Wolf Boom Radio group because you need to know the weather. Let's get into our local news summary now. These stories and more airing on all of our stations in East Central Indiana and now on WMUN. Saturday, the Eagles had 5 individual champions, and all 12 of competing wrestlers advanced to next week's regional. Yorktown finished second, 2 champs. The Anderson Water Department yesterday asked residents and businesses to voluntarily reduce their water usage by 25% as the city is experiencing a reduction in available water. This might last 5 to 7 days. A crowded field for the U.S. House of Representatives 5th District seat currently held by Victoria Sparks. The Republican will face one challenger on that side of the primary May 5, as well as 3 Democrats. See the full list of who's running on our local news page now. This Friday is the deadline to register as a candidate for the primary. He has noticed a common theme recently with types of business pitches he's received.
Tech is involved in just about every business you can imagine. And if it's not, then you're probably not in business. So we focus on a lot of tech businesses, a lot of people who have ideas in tech. Could be an app, could be a program, it could be a whole new platform that we help them get started.
Ted Baker, Muncie Innovation Connector CEO on WMUN's Delaware County Today, says his group works with businesses across the spectrum. This weather stretch we are in has canceled several food distributions.
We can't have our volunteers out there. Plus, you've got folks in cars that may not be able to brave the temperature and sit in a long line for a long time and then might stall out. So we have to be really, or maybe don't have heat in their cars. So all of that are safety reasons why we sometimes have to cancel, and we hate it when we have to cancel.
Becca Clausen from Second Harvest Food Bank ECI. This week, weather permitting, there are daily events at 10 a.m. Watch for their socials for any planned changes. Wolf Boom Sports Director Kurt Darling about WMUN high school boys basketball coverage.
We're going to be getting back on some more Muncie Central games. We've been away from the Bearcats far too long.
A special Thursday game this week on WMUN as Marion visits the Bearcats live on radio and Wolf Boom TV. The Cornerstone Center for the Arts Muncie is celebrating 100 years at the Masonic Temple with Illuminate the Arts, March 19th, 5 to 8 p.m. Courtney McAuliffe told WMUN's Delaware County Today the evening will include a special debut.
A documentary debut. It's being created by filmmaker and historian Chris Fluke that is going to explore the first century of the Masonic Temple.
A statement put out by the Anderson Water Department says that there is a reduction in available water, and they're asking customers to voluntarily reduce usage by 25% to allow towers and tanks to refill and make sure the water is there for fire protection if needed. They believe 5 to 7 days of compliance should suffice. Acknowledging the need to run water during this freezing weather to avoid damage, they recommended reducing other water usage by reducing laundry loads and other such tasks. Brett Busby, Wolf Boom, Radio News.
Question to Madison County historian Stephen Jackson: how Indiana earned the reputation as a basketball state.
We were the first state in the United States to have such a strong tournament, and I think that gave us that sobriquet.
From Oldies 101's Anderson Talks show, girls high school basketball sectional start this week. Championship in its own IHSAA sectional Saturday. The Eagles had 5 individual champions, and all 12 of competing wrestlers advanced to next week's regional. Yorktown finished second, 2 champs and 11 wrestlers advancing. Cowan and Westdell each produced 2 champs, and Muncie Burris had 1. 6 Cowan wrestlers advanced, 4 each from Daleville, Muncie Central, and Westdell, 2 from Wapahani, and 1 from Burris.
News.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Hey, it's Jonas.
We'll take you behind the scenes right now. We're off of the air feed for the audio and onto our video feed. Hi, hello, and good morning. This is Delaware County Today on WMUN. Commercial break playing right now. We have the opportunity to jump in and talk to the video feed. We're awaiting the virtual arrival of Mick Tidrow in a moment. Voice of Cardinals booked for 8:15 this morning, and at 8:30, Casa coming in. We'll bring you some more audio from the radio right now and come back to more of this in a moment. Delaware County Today on WMUN, the talk radio of Muncie, Indiana, USA.
See official rules at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for entry period and free method of entry, sponsored by Crown Gaming, Inc.
This message is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Because if you're yelling Hut on Sundays, why not yell pizza first? There is one game of football left. That means you have one more week to score the Big New Yorker for just $10 from Pizza Hut. The Big New Yorker is Pizza Hut's biggest pizza for the biggest game. It's big. So before the first Hut, pre-order the biggest pizza for the biggest game. Pre-order the Big New Yorker, and you're set for the whole game.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
And a pleasant good morning on this, the 3rd day of February. By the way, that's the right way to say it. Nobody says it that way. Everybody says February, don't they? Coming up in a minute or so, we are hoping to connect via the Zoom room with our good friend from the Ball State Cardinals, Mick Tidrow. He will be joining us for a preview of all things Ball State athletics coming up in the next several days. It's a busy time of the year for him and for a lot of folks. And it's a busy time for radio, too. We are very pleased and proud to bring you the Cardinals on WMUN, presented by Pridemark Construction and the Wolf Boom Radio Group, 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and all the rest. Got a quick note here to share from our friend Sue Arrington. She sent me a list of a town hall that she'll have. What is this called? A mid-session town hall that will be this coming Saturday, February the 7th. I just said February, didn't I? Instead of February. State Rep Sue Arrington Town Hall will be at the Muncie Public Library's Mering Hunt branch. And we'll check for the time on it. Here you go. 1 until 2 p.m. 1 until 2 p.m. at that library in town. This is a House District 34 Town Hall. State Rep Sue Arrington, Democrat, not seeking re-election for House District number 34, as she has told us and told you. She has done incredible work and time served for so long now, and she is very proud to, in her words, serve right up until the end. She will serve until the last day of her tenure. No stopping Sue, and we're going to hear Sue moving forward. There's no doubt about it. In other capacities, she's already told us that she does have a candidacy for precinct committeeman, I think. I can't remember the title of that particular office that she is seeking, but in large part, she told me on the air here on WMUN, it is to help people get registered to vote and help them to know and understand the importance of getting out to vote. And that's something she's really good at, and we hope that you are good at doing. Voting, that is. It is 8:17 now as we check live radio and live video. At least the video from our video feed is coming to you at a later time if you're replaying this on our YouTube page. We are a late arrival here for our guest, Mick Tidrow. I see no other communication from him asking him if he was ready to jump into the Zoom room. He might be running just a little late. Hopefully everything is safe, sound, and secure in his situation. He is the host of the Thursday radio show also here on WMUN. That is the This Week in Ball State Athletics program, 9 until 9:30. He's the one that tells you about all things Ball State athletics. He has the best guests. He has some incredible insight, and he gets you some of that sort of knowledge that you might not know about unless you hear Mick talking about it. Mick Tidrow is the voice of the Cardinals, who, by the way, recently moved. In fact, this past weekend, it's not a secret because he was sharing pictures of the U-Haul. I think he moved like 2 or 3 or 4 minutes from his current abode with his wife. And he did that on one of the coldest days in recent memory. Ugh. Steve Lindell live on WMUN, awaiting the arrival of Mick Tidrow. Hopefully, we'll just wait a minute or two more here and then move on to our next item and next segment. I did suggest to Mick Tidrow that he ask members of the Ball State football team if they might join him in that move. Big lugs that could move boxes and furniture around, but I'm not sure he took me up on that. He felt kind of funny about it. We're live from our video studio here on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio and WMUN. For my guests that are in the exterior hallway, you're welcome to enter the room and get comfortable in one of those waiting chairs there. Coat hook right out front if you want to get comfortable in that regard too. We're going to talk about Delaware County CASA in just a couple of minutes. We're about 10 minutes away from that interview as part of today's Delaware County Today. Steve Lindell live from our video studio here on the south side of Muncie, Indiana, USA. We are Going to wait just a moment more for Mick Tidrow and see if there might be a message that comes in from him. He is very, very, very adept at staying on time. I can't imagine how he keeps track of everything that he does do. He is, if he's not on the radio on WMUN with Ball State coverage presented by Pridemark Construction, he is doing TV, he's doing podcasts, he's doing Zoom interviews, he's everywhere. He is everywhere, working really hard and doing a great job for Ball State University and the network of stations that carry all of those items. For my friend and producer, Jackson Jacoby, I'm going to jump down to page 2. We call it the floater list. If we could, let's get a little snapshot of your day today.
It's February 3rd, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Day the Music Died. The day remembers the deaths of rock and roll singers Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and J.P. Richardson, perhaps better known as the Big Bopper. The three perished when their plane went down near Clear Lake, Iowa in 1959. Also on this date, in 1941, the U.S. Supreme Court upholds the federal wage and hour law, which set minimum wage and maximum work standards. The UK issued a set of stamps in 1998 commemorating Princess Diana, who died in a car crash in August of 1997. Born on this day in 1480, Spanish explorer Ferdinand Magellan, the first man to sail around the world. Hall of Fame quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, Fran Tarkenton, born in 1940. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Thank you. We call him Sir Fran Tarkenton, Sir Francis. Mom is likely listening in Minnesota. Can't see my screen with our Alexa listeners. Sister Sherry is probably in Portland, Oregon. She is regular like a clock, listening on the left coast. A couple of minutes left here in this segment before we can take our next break and move on and get our next guests in here. I do want to go again to that list at the sheet 2 of our run area today, and we're going to talk about protecting puppies now.
Take a pause.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is accused of looking the other way as commercial dog breeders abuse their animals. The ASPCA's Robert Hensley says it happened in 2024 and again in 2025.
USDA inspectors observed dogs who were sick and injured without having been seen by a veterinarian or receiving medical care.
A new report from the group says last year there were 680 animal welfare violations documented at breeding facilities, yet the USDA took no action at all. And
there were also 150 instances of dog dealers turning away USDA inspectors, not allowing them to enter the property and conduct inspections, which is a very serious violation.
The group says about 250,000 dogs are in breeding facilities or puppy mills, and many of them are given moldy food and filthy water. What to do?
We are encouraging the public to look to their local shelter and rescue first if they're looking to bring a dog into their home.
Take a pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
On WMUN, News Talk, Sports Talk, Community Talk. We use our voice to build and connect our community on WMUN. One more item here before we hit our next break. Fox's Grinal Scott has more about a student who fought for equality in her school and won.
Celebrating Black History Month.
Barbara Johns, as a young black high school student in Virginia, was frustrated that kids at an all-black high school did not get the equipment and facilities that white students had within her Prince Edward County district. In Johns' words, she saw
talents and abilities here that weren't really being realized, and I thought that was a tragic shame.
Johns organized a student strike in 1951 that the NAACP got involved in, hoping for integrated schools. The case reached the U.S. Supreme Court as part of the historic Brown v. Board of Education case that found public school segregation unconstitutional. In 2020, Virginia leaders voted to replace the statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee at the U.S. Capitol with a statue of Johns. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said at last November's unveiling,
"Her story will never
be erased. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Thank you, Grinal. We have these chairs right here that will be filled by our guests in our next segment. This is Delaware County Today on WMUN.
The new year is just getting started, and we have big plans, new local shows, even more local news, expansion of our coverage into even more video, and an expanded and rebranded morning show hosted by Steve Lindell. It's all in our continuing effort to use our voice to build and connect our community. 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and on Alexa's Say Play WMUN.
Game day starts before kickoff. Get ready for the big game with help from Menards. Find great deals on sofas and recliners to keep guests comfortable all game long. Score big savings and stock up on game day goodies. Shop a variety of snacks and drinks to keep your party fueled up. Make Menards a part of your game plan. Shop in store or on Menards.com and save big money.
Save big money at Menards.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, it's Cavino and Rich. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It gets a lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever TP leaves behind for no more maintenance wipes. Make the trade of the season and switch from TP and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes. Best clean, pants down.
This message is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Because if you're yelling "Hut" on Sundays, why not yell "Pizza" first?
There is one game of football left. That means you have one more week to score the Big New Yorker for just $10 from Pizza Hut. The Big New Yorker is Pizza Hut's biggest pizza for the biggest game.
It's big. So before the first Hut, pre-order the biggest pizza for the biggest game. Pre-order the Big New Yorker, and you're set for the whole game.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community School.
Very pleased and proud now to bring in our hometown hero of the month, Delaware County CASA. It's an acronym. We'll explain to you what the letters mean in just a moment. First and foremost, what I'd like you to do is introduce yourself and your job. You're the director of the organization. Please say hello to our listeners to start us off, would you?
Hello, good morning. My name's Nikki Boskin, and I've been the director of Delaware County CASA for about 8 months.
All right, very good. And
I am Kimberly Hall, and I'm the volunteer coordinator at the Delaware County CASA.
And we're very pleased to have you in our room here. It is a video studio, and we're not afraid to use it. I hope that that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Sure.
Talk nice and loud. Don't be afraid to talk into that microphone there. As the director, I've been there for several months. Give our listeners an overview of what Delaware County CASA is and does.
So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. It's an organization that trains and supervises volunteers from the community, and those volunteers advocate for children that are involved in the foster care system. So usually they have a case with their family through DCS. Some of them are removed from the home, others are in home, and we look at all of the factors, services that are happening for parents, services that children may need, and we report back to the juvenile magistrate on how the child is doing, how the case is progressing, and what we think is in the best interest of the child.
Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Now, Kimberly, when we talked on the phone the other day about today's interview, I asked you, and you shared with me the need as far as how many children are in our midst that really need the help of somebody that is willing to serve.
Yes, we have right now about 150 children without an advocate in Delaware County. So the need is great, and we start a new training session April 1st. So we're hoping to get a bunch of volunteers to train then.
Well, let's stay with that. As far as if someone was willing to volunteer, what are the expectations, or are those expectations varied as far as what your needs are for the kids?
Well, the expectation is that you visit the child at least once a month in the home that they're living in, and visit them in school, get to know the child. Once a month is the minimum, I guess. Usually at the beginning, it takes a little bit to get to know the child, and really our job is to find out what the child needs and to communicate that to the judge. So get to know the child. It's usually on your own time. You can make the appointments and, get to know the child, find out what services they might need, what the parents are doing to reunify with the child, and, just communicate that to the judge.
And just to make it very clear for our listeners, these are not kids that are in trouble. These are kids that have gotten in the midst of some trouble in varying sorts of ways and situations. And what the CASA does, I'm paraphrasing this, so please tell me if I'm saying it right. What the CASA does is helps the child to navigate through a court proceeding, or maybe some behind-the-scenes sort of things. You're not looking for counselors per se, but you're looking for advocates for these kids. Am I saying that right?
Yes. So there are no requirements as far as education or experience to become a CASA. We want volunteers that are normal citizens, that just have common sense about families and what they need. And we do all of the training. So basically, you're visiting with that child, and they're trying to navigate possibly being removed from their family. They may be in counseling. So all of the professional services are provided by DCS that initiate the case. We're just there as a support person and somebody to advise the court on the child's perspective, because most of the focus for DCS is services for parents.
I see. This is a Delaware County CASA. Today, our Hometown Hero of the Month in focus on WMUN's Delaware County Today. Wolf Boom Radio has been running this program of Hometown Heroes for several years now. In fact, there are so many that in our midst, not-for-profits, 501c3s, groups, clubs, organizations that really deserve this kind of attention. We started a secondary benefit system called Airwaves in Action on a couple of other radio stations in the Wolf Boom Radio Group. Delaware County CASA has been doing incredible work like this behind the scenes for some time. It's the kind of thing, and I think that's a key phrase too, and again, tell me if I'm thinking correctly here, Kimberly, that behind the scenes is what you're all about. You're not looking for somebody to run in front of cameras, run in front of a microphone. You're actually better serving these kids and so forth when it's somebody that just wants to be a quiet helper in the background.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just need people that love children and want to advocate for them. And it is a background position, but it makes a huge difference. Children that have a CASA are 50% less likely to re-enter the foster care system after reunification, and they are reunified or achieve permanency about 8 months sooner than children without a CASA.
Wow.
So if we had enough CASAs for all the children in our community, it would not only change children's lives, it would change the landscape of the foster system in Delaware County.
The Delaware County CASAs are our hometown hero of the month, Kimberly Hall, the volunteer coordinator. If I could ask you, and I'll ask both of you this question, what's your heart for this? I mean, you could choose to serve and help in a whole lot of different ways, shapes, and fashions, but why is it so important to you?
Oh, man. When I was younger and when I had a young family, I really wanted to be a foster parent, but that just wouldn't work for me. And then I found out that you can make a huge difference in a child in the foster system. You can make a huge difference in their life without actually being placement. So I found out about CASA and became a CASA when I was an empty nester as a volunteer. And then I, about a year and a half later, I think I came on staff. And so I just really wanted to make a difference in some small way, and knew I couldn't be a foster parent, but this was perfect.
That's terrific. Thanks for sharing that story, Kimberly Hall. We're going to come back to you in a minute about the volunteer aspect and how they can attend this training session that's coming up. Nikki Boskin, the director, if you could answer that same question, what's your heart in all of this, if you don't mind sharing?
I grew up in kind of a poverty-stricken area and had some struggles myself growing up. And then when I moved here and I was taking care of my kids, I worked part-time at a high school in Winchester, and I was special education assistant actually, and realized a lot of the kids that I was working for, the reason they had trouble focusing or behaviors was because they had situations going on at home that hadn't been addressed. And it's really hard when you're just seeing a kid for a few hours a day to make a difference or help them. And so I reached out to Delaware County CASA to become an advocate because I didn't want to be in the community that I worked at the time. And within about a year, I was brought on as a volunteer supervisor. So I held that job for about 4 or 5 years, and then I became the staff advocate supervisor because we had such a need for volunteers. We sought funding to get staff advocates that would take a bigger caseload, and then I took the director position, like I say, about 8 months ago.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing, because you're helping a lot of children and families and everybody associated with all of these folks. Now we're going to get on to the volunteer aspect, because I assume you cannot do this important work without having enough hands. As you mentioned just a minute ago, Kimberly, you have a training session coming up and you have a need to place some adult with some child in 100+ cases. Tell them what they need to do and when they need to do it if they'd like to be considered to be a volunteer for Delaware County CASA.
Yeah, you can visit our website at delawarecountycasa.org, or if you'd like to, you can just call our office, 765-747-7875, and we can help you fill out an application, and then you'll just have an interview. We do background checks, and then you get to start training. We help you navigate the case. We help you navigate the court system. We don't need people that have experience in the court system. We don't need people that have experience in childcare or teaching, although we do love teachers. We love attorneys. People that have experience are great, but we don't need people with experience. We just need everyday citizens that care about children and want to improve our community.
Fantastic. Anything we haven't touched on before we end our segment today? I ask that question to the director, please.
Just that our program is really seeking support from the community. We need volunteers very badly. The caseload for our county has gone up considerably in the last few months. There's a lot of new child abuse and neglect cases that we're advocating for, and families that are being engaged in the system every day. There's detentions, almost, we call them detentions, is when a child is detained by DCS and we have to have a court hearing for that. Those are happening weekly. So If you don't feel that you can volunteer, we're also looking for members for our advisory board, and there's an application on the website that you can use for that. So there are lots of ways that you can help. If you don't feel that you're able to volunteer, we do lots of community events trying to get just public awareness.
Well, fantastic work to both of you and so many others that are involved with the Delaware County CASA. Congratulations on being the benefactor for the Hometown Hero of the Month on WMUN. And if there's anything that we can do ever at the radio station or the radio group, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are an advocate for children and families and so many others. That's part of why we say we use our voice to build and connect our community on WMUN and Wolf Boom Radio. Thank you very much for the work that you're doing. Appreciate you very much. You're very welcome. I'm Steve Lindell. This is called Delaware County Today. We have more coming in just a moment on WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Alex Brown. The 2025 Venture Report, released Monday by TechPoint, says Indiana-based tech companies raised approximately $290 million across 98 separate deals last year. That's down from $549 million across 139 deals in 2024. TechPoint Vice President Chelsea Linder says there is optimism to be found despite the drop.
Investors are starting to develop a different thesis of what they're looking for in companies, and it looks a lot more like what Indiana companies have always been great at.
Naval Support Activity Crane, the naval installation located about 35 miles southwest of Bloomington, has a new name. The U.S. Navy said Monday that the new name, Naval Weapons Station Crane, better aligns with the installation's primary mission areas, including weapon systems development and testing. This is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Serving Indiana means being ready for growing energy demands. At Duke Energy, we're adding more power to the grid and working on hundreds of local projects to make your energy more reliable. We've strengthened nearly 20,000 poles, updated more than 270 substations, and prevented hundreds of thousands of outage hours with self-healing grid technology, so your power can come back on faster than ever. That's the smarter energy future Indiana deserves. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress, from the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures. Visit elevateventures.com.
All kinds of people with Dr. Joe.
And with me in the studio today, Courtney Jarrett.
Thanks for having me.
Courtney is the Director of Disability Services at Ball State University. I really appreciate you taking the time from what clearly is a job that consumes not only personal time, but I suspect personal emotions and feelings. Thank you.
Interesting guests from Muncie and Delaware County with the kinds of conversation that only Joe could have.
Coach Richards in. Bill, thanks for coming down to Wolf Boom.
You know, I'm not the most academic person in the world, but somehow with a lot of help, I was able to get my master's degree in 1 year.
I believe we share that in common. Thank you. I'll leave it at that.
Here on Radio Mondays, and then anytime on demand on WMUNmuncie.com. Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
Coming up on 8:44 on this February, what do we got, 3rd of the month, as we're just getting underway with the shortest month of the year. Steve Lindell live on radio always and emanating from our video studio this morning. I actually got some tips and tricks from my good friend Gary Joseph, who had some ideas how to better utilize the camera positions and so forth. I appreciate his brain and his knowledge base there. I don't know that I'm doing any better, but I am trying to, and I appreciate any sort of help I can get. We're not only adding a video component to our audio ability here, but we're also going to be doing some things in this room that will be, in some cases, video only to our YouTube channel. We are already thinking ahead about the political season coming up. We're thinking about various sorts of situations where you might need some insight about a particular topic or notion that we can share more about, and with guests, with experts here from our local area and from far away too. We're not afraid to seek out specialists that are outside of our geographic area. We want to and vow to use our voice to build and connect our community. That is the mantra for Wolf Boom Radio. One of the other fun things that happens this particular week of the year on Wolf Boom Radio is Super Bowl week. Dan Patrick and several other of the hosts on the Fox Sports Network will certainly be continuing from Radio Row and some other locales to bring you the inside and the insight as we lead up to the big game on Sunday. If you ever want to send an email, by the way, and tell us what you're thinking about the Super Bowl, about a city council meeting. We're reviewing, by the way, the data and information from last night's Muncie City Council meeting. We'll have reporting on that coming up very soon and later through the week. You can send us an email and ask questions. Many do, and many are welcome to continue to do that. You just send that to WMUN@wolfboom.com. WMUN, the call letters of the radio station, at woof like the dog, boom like the firecracker.com like the interwebs. Next item for this morning that people are clearly talking about, President Trump and his administration want less reliance on other countries.
This is House Call for Health, a shift in focus for the U.S. drug supply. The Food and Drug Administration launching a new pilot program designed to boost U.S. production of pharmaceutical drugs. The FDA now accepting applications for its PreCheck program, which the agency says aims to streamline construction and cut down the review process for drug manufacturing sites in the U.S. The FDA will be selecting an initial group of pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities based on the, quote, overall alignment with national priorities across multiple selection criteria including products, production timeline, and innovation. The new pilot program is part of President Trump's initiative to increase drug manufacturing in the U.S. The FDA Commissioner, Dr. Marty McCary, writes, after 35 years of globalists taking pharmaceutical manufacturing overseas, the FDA is taking bold steps to bring it back. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
WMUN, an affiliate of Fox News Radio. Updates right around the top of the hour, every day, because news happens all the time. Pacer people, you lost last night. Pacers losing by 4 to the Houston Rockets. That game heard live here on WMUN. We have another game coming up for the Pacers on Friday night. Let's look at our schedule, things coming up here. We have today game. The Ball State men's basketball squad will take to the air at 6:30, presented by Pridemark Construction. Then we'll have a women's game for Ball State on Wednesday night. That's a 6 p.m. airtime. Hopefully Coach Brady Sallee will watch his words and tone. That's an inside story. On Thursday, not Friday, we're going to have a couple of high school boys basketball games on the Wolf Boom Radio Group. Here on WMUN, you get the Marion Giants at the Muncie Central Bearcats. Kurt Darling and company say that's a 6:50, 10-7 pregame. And on our Oldies 101 with Zach Johnson and George Bremer, we've got Alexandria at Lapel planned, and that's a 7:15 p.m. Again, Thursday on those games, high school boys basketball, floating around to some other days of the week. Then we are allowed and able to bring you a Friday Pacer contest because we don't have any high school commitments on Friday night. That'll be a 7:30 airtime on WMUN. And then the Ball State women are back in action on Saturday. Now, that particular situation is one of those deals where we have a time conflict. So what we do is utilize our Wolf Boom radio stations, and we'll put the Ball State women's game on 104.9 Work FM. That is on Saturday, 12:30, the airtime on that one. And then same day, Saturday, the Ball State men will be here on WMUN. That one is set to start at 2:30 for the pregame. And if you're looking for Purdue Boiler Ball, Oldies 101 has those games. Purdue basketball, Saturday noon start time here on our Wolf Boom radio group. And our 6 formats, one mission. We use our voice to build and connect our community. Sean Mattingly is our chief technologist. He said to me recently, why do you look down so much when you're doing the radio and the video associated with it? The reason is simply this: I can't memorize all this stuff. It's just too much. All right, until this morning when I was preparing for the show, I didn't know this was real, but fake returns, it's a thing.
Fox on Tech.
As return fraud surges, companies are now turning to artificial intelligence to separate the real returns from costly fakes. We're here in a warehouse operated by the UPS-owned company Happy Returns, surrounded by returned items and robots sorting them. Happy Returns is piloting a program with some retailers that takes pictures of suspected fraudulent returns and then uses AI to compare those pictures to the original item that was sold. Here's Happy Returns CEO David Sobey.
We use AI in 2 ways. First, on the front end, we score every return transaction looking at all of its attributes. So we're trying to come up with a risk profile of each return. Any returns that are deemed high risk, instead of refunding at the point of drop-off, we'll wait till they get back to a hub where they can be audited. And that's a second way that we use artificial intelligence.
And more people are trying to cheat retailers than you might think. According to a merchant survey, 9% of returns are fraudulent. With Fox on Tech, Max Gordon, Fox Business.
And again, I'm not surprised that people are trying to cheat because human beings do the darndest things. What I'm surprised is that people do that purposefully, and they do it enough that they have to be worried about it at major retailers and even smaller ones. I didn't know that. Steve Lindell live on WMUN. News talk, sports talk, community talk. We're the talk radio of Muncie. We have many radio stations with music and songs. Those include WLBC, Work FM, Max, Blake FM. We also have Oldies 101 in Anderson, Madison County, and the talk shows on that station. Right now, at this time, George Bremer is on live and solo with guests. Zach Johnson is the co-host, and he has some time off this week. The afternoon program on that station, Oldies 101, is called Anderson Talks with Mitch Henk. And you can hear that from 4 to 6 p.m. on Oldies 101. In the immediate area, it's 101.1 FM, 1240 a.m. The Alexa command is play WHBU. Now we get closer to the end of our program time for today. We'll bring an archive up again as Janice continues to recover, and hopefully we'll be back on the job soon. To Florida from the 2019 archives, and another do-good story.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A Florida man who paid off the lunch debt of every child in his community makes the Dean's List. When Andrew Levy found out that more than 400 students in his area of Jupiter, Florida, were unable to receive a full meal because they couldn't afford to pay for school lunches, he stepped up to the plate. Mr. Levy paid $944 to cover 9 local students' lunch debt, something he said was a modest price to pay to make a difference for each child. And by sharing his deed on social media, the real estate agent took it one step further. His post went viral. One person said, "I want to thank you for your generosity. These kids will never forget your kindness." Andrew Levy says the lunch debt is crazy. Food is something you shouldn't have to think about, and children shouldn't go hungry. Thank you, Andrew, for your generosity and for spreading awareness. You made the Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
Thank you, Janice. Proof positive again. There are a lot of really good-hearted people in our midst, in our world. There's a lot of the others too, but let's focus on the good ones. Let's focus on the smiles and the happy that are done behind the scenes, sometimes on the front lines. And we are very pleased and proud to bring you those stories here. If you have stories to share, tell us, and I'll tell everybody. I'm Steve Lindell, your host. Jackson Jacoby in the Axia Command Center doing a fantastic job. Tomorrow, I'll be at the Muncie on the Move breakfast event. Steve Lindell on WMUN's Delaware County Today.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox, and DraftKings Sportsbook is making every snap, every drive, every moment of Super Bowl 60